If I had to describe the experience I had with the law office of Wiley Helixon, it would be pugnacious, passionate, detail-oriented, and resourceful. You are going to find that Will and his team have advantages no one else in this arena can match. I'm Major Joshua Wiley. I'm an operations officer and an engineer. This spring I was blindsided with issuance of a General Officer Memorandum of Reprimand for a very tragic accident that had occurred, but which unfortunately was gravely mischaracterized. And so I was faced with the need to defend myself. Personally, this was a devastating blow to encounter. For that time of my life, I was just about to get married, and the 3 weeks before my fiance and I tied the knot ended up being consumed with the GOMOR response, as well as the 3 weeks after. So at a time in my life which should have been filled with joy and with starting a new chapter, I was forced to revisit in very excruciating detail something from the past. What made me choose the law office of Will M. Helixson for my defense? I talked to a few other firms and provided them with my packet and what I was facing for their opinions. I found that Will was the most open in providing a thorough review even before I had signed a contract or paid anything, and that he was very familiar with the type of action I was facing, and also was optimistic about my chances and eager to assist me. Who were the lawyers who worked on my case? The attorneys on my case were Will Helixson and John Caldwell. How did Will Helixson and his team initially approach my case? So Will and his team thoroughly reviewed the packet that had been submitted with the GOMOR letter, and they started generating questions. And those were questions both for me and also for them to develop potential leads for interviewing, for investigating, for following up in all kinds of directions that had not been addressed in the lead up to the reprimand itself. What aspects of the representation stood out the most to me? For me, I found that Will was highly engaged and personable. When he was on my case, I knew that he was 100% in. And I knew that I could message him at any time. I could bounce ideas off of him, that we could work together as a team, which is not always the case with lawyers. You have different types of personalities, but Will's was the type to want to collaborate and to bring the best out of everyone he was working with. Looking back, how would I describe the value of the law office of Will M. Helixson to my case? Hiring Will meant that I had a full-time advocate. It meant that the existential crisis of not knowing initially if my career was going to survive these allegations was not a battle that I was facing alone. I had not only Will, but I had a team. And that support, psychologically, beyond just the legal advice and work itself, was incredibly empowering and helped me get through a very trying time.